friends, welcome to another episode of Chess Chat, a program brought to you live from the Rollstone Bank and Trust Studios at Fitchburg Access Television. I am George Marajanian, Program Director of the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University. This club, the second oldest chess club in Massachusetts, meets every Wednesday evening from 6:30 to 10:30 in rooms 163 and 165 in the McKay complex at the university. And with me for this 199th episode of Chess Chat is our award-winning director, Darren Damon Fitchburg, recipient of FATV's prestigious Boulder Award in 2009, and now in his 19th consecutive year as director of Chess Chat. And assisting Darren in the control room and also operating a camera on our set is a fellow resident and longtime Wachusett Chess Club member, Brian Bigelow. And sitting next to me is my longtime associate, trusty colleague, a chess author, a chess photographer, the Wachusett Chess Club statistician, my co-host, Dave Kuchar of Westminster. Hello, Dave.
Hello, George. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Dave. Well, it is a Happy New Year for all of us because we have the honor and privilege, Dave, today of having our newly crowned Wachusett Chess Club champion, Mike Urbonas of Acton, Massachusetts, with us. Hello, Mike. Happy New Year, Mike.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, George and Dave. Happy New Year to you as well. Very happy to be here.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, gents.
A hearty congratulations to you, Mike.
Yes.
Because we actually postponed having this program with you for at least two programs because we had two major events.
Oh, absolutely.
Last month, we did actually on the World Championship. Dave and I did a program on Grandmaster Gukesh Domaraju winning the World Championship, the youngest ever 18-year-old Gukesh Domaraju winning the World Championship.
Yes, and it was a great show, George. Well done.
Well, thank you for that show. Thank you for that. And the month before, we had our 2014 Wachusett Chess Club champion, Carissa Hip, winning her third U.S. Women's Championship.
Yep.
So we put those two major events ahead of reporting on the club championship. But we're happy to have you.
Yes.
Better late than never.
Oh no, that's perfect. And yep, congratulations to Carissa too for just continuing to light
fantastic,
it up. She's
Carissa.
on a tear. Fantastic.
Yeah. Now I have to ask you, Mike, questions like, for example, at what age do you learn chess?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's
you remember?
Interesting. I remember, and I think I swear it was like around 6. Like at that Christmas, we got like one of those plastic chess and checker sets.
Yes.
And of course, I knew how to play checkers. My little brother knew how to play checkers. But then I'm like, well, what about these other pieces? You know?
Yes.
The interesting thing is, it came with one of those little small instructions how to play chess, how the pieces move. And I remember, I have some recollection of like reading that.
So you taught yourself then?
Pretty much, but my father knew how to play chess, and he also, helped me to, understand chess. Right. Like I'd play and move pieces with him, and he'd say, "Oh, you don't want to do that," So he's a lot more forgiving than the custodian in the Queen's Gambit. He didn't give Beth Harmon any hints, right? But so he was a little bit more forgiving that. But no, I learned how to play. I think I was like around 6 or 7. And by
now, where did you grow up? Where
in Peabody on the North Shore.
In Peabody?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And by I was maybe like 10 or something. I think I had some reasonable understanding about, openings and basic tactics and that kind of thing. My dad still had a couple of chess books. One of them was like a compilation of games by Irving Chernev. Which was really great. And then my mom got me a book, The Complete Chess Player by Fred Reinfeldt. And he wrote I think they just kept throwing money at him. He wrote all kinds of books.
He was a prolific
hundreds of books. Yeah. But he did write some good ones. That was a really good one, and I got a lot out of it, especially like the book on the chapter from the book on tactics.
Tactics.
Pins and night forks and double attacks, all that important stuff. And
So this is around 9 or 10, you say?
10, 11, yeah, 10, and then I think it was 11 or 12, maybe 12.
Yes.
When I played my first tournament.
So is that when you
actual tournament?
So you joined the U.S. Chess Federation at that age?
Right around then, yes.
Age?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you remember actually playing in your first tournament?
Oh yeah, sure.
Where it was? I mean.
Yeah, it was actually in Lawrence, where Rusty Maurice and Bill Levering were directing tournaments.
Yeah.
I think they directed tournaments there through the 70s, and well before I started playing, so early 70s.
Right.
And
was this the Lawrence? Was it the YMCA?
Lawrence YMCA.
YMCA in Lawrence. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Because those two were very active in organizational chess in the state. They were on the board of directors of the Massachusetts Chess Association. I knew them both. I knew them both very well.
Yeah, same. And they were active in directing tournaments first in Lawrence, and then in for a while in Billerica at the what was I don't know if it's still called Honeywell.
Honeywell, yes,
yeah.
right in the Billerica.
And then also Rusty Maurice directed some tournaments for the Boylston Chess Club in the late 70s, maybe 1980.
Right.
So they were.
And this is
they
what the
were
club
a
was
force
actually.
Coordinating and running events, weekend events, on a very regular basis, almost every weekend.
Because those events they ran, those tournaments they ran, were reported on in the magazine that the State Chess Association used to publish, called Chess Horizons.
Chess Horizons.
So all those Rusty Maurice, Bill Levering tournaments were actually reported on in the magazine.
You know, a fun fact, George, speaking of Chess Horizons, around the same time, maybe a little bit later than I became a U.S. chess member, I joined the Mass Chess Association. And back then, you used to have to send a postcard or a letter. Please send me information about, whatever.
Yes.
No email.
Right.
The olden days.
Right.
And then you replied. You were, I think, if I'm not mistaken, either president or the editor of Chess Horizons in the 77, 78, around then.
I was editor from 1972 to 1978, but I was president during the 1970s.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
right.
I distinctly remember you sent back a nice a note back with lots of useful information and a copy of the magazine, which was still not in 8.5 by 11, but it was like, memo, I don't know, whatever,
It was a
5 by
smaller
7 or whatever
format,
it is. Yeah, smaller format.
But it grew. But that magazine actually became a larger format with more pages. We were actually doing in excess of 64 pages. I mean, yeah. So, and again, that ceased publication in the pandemic year. In the year 2020, in January, was the last time the magazine appeared.
Yeah.
After 50 years. It started actually in 1969, December of 69, and it finally came to a close after 50 years.
Yeah, that's a shame. And as you guys know, I'm on the board of directors now for Mass Chess.
And we should let our viewers know that you actually sit on the board of directors of Mass Chess Association.
Yep. And I mean, for one, I'd love to see Chess Horizons come back in some capacity.
Yeah.
Maybe a digital version to begin with.
Right.
But
by the way, a former club champion, you are now the new club champion.
Yes.
But a former club champion, Wachusett Chess Club champion, is the president.
Oh,
Rob King.
Rob King.
Rob
Yes.
King is a former Wachusett Chess Club champion.
Yes.
And another member of the board, who's actually believes the vice president, is Matt Phelps. Matt Phelps of Groton. Right. He's the vice president.
That's right.
We have a number of Wachusett Chess Club members who are yourself, and Matt Phelps and Rob King, who serve on the board of directors of the Mass Chess Association, known as MACA.
Yes.
Okay.
So everybody on the board has a different specialty, right? That they're focusing on.
Yeah, there's subcommittees. At least how it stands right now.
Right.
There's a communications subcommittee, and I'm leading that. There's a subcommittee for the website. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes. You might notice a little bit of a difference in how the website presents upcoming tournaments. It looks a little different, but
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen the Mac. I've seen the website.
Yeah.
And the changes. Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes happening, and there's going to be a modernized website coming sooner rather than later, but for a wide variety of very valid reasons, and that hasn't happened yet, but it will.
Are you involved with that part of it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, You told us actually when you joined the U.S. Chess Federation, played in tournaments organized by Rusty Maurice and Bill
Yes.
Levering. But then you took a break. You got married.
I got married in 1988, and I only played. I was married for 30 years. I played in just a couple of tournaments in the early 90s, and that was it. And so for most of that time, I wasn't playing chess. When Chess.com came out, I joined and was just playing like some 5 and 10 minute games online just for fun. But I didn't play in a tournament again until the end of 2019, and I was like, I really want to do this again. And so I played in a couple of evening tournaments at the Boylston Chess Club. I was living in Boston at the time.
Okay.
And then because of COVID, long story short, I left Boston and moved. I live in West Acton now.
Yes.
Still live there. And there was an evening event, or maybe it was like Game 15 or something like that, at in Air at the Billiards Cafe.
Billiards Cafe.
Oh, that's right.
And, yes.
That was the club run by Michael David.
Yes.
From our club. Yeah.
Yep. And unfortunately, because of COVID, they lost that space. And long story short, unfortunately. But I think it was a day or two after that event. I think it was I want to say it was on a Sunday. But anyways, after
it was a Sunday club. Yes. Yeah.
So like that Monday or Tuesday, the lockdown kicked in, and it was that put a stop to that.
Right.
So so 2020 didn't play very much, although played like just outside with some friends, including Michael David and others, a few others. So we had our own board, so it was almost like we'd call out our moves, almost like we're playing Battleship.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, really?
But and all because of COVID. And look back, it was so surreal, in 2020. But then finally in 2021, things started to get back to normal, and the Wachusett Club could start running tournaments again, in-person tournaments, and and started playing there too, and also in Billerica. But I played in the Wachusett Club since 2021.
Yes,
maybe the very end of 2020.
Well, I can tell you exactly when you joined us.
Well, thank you, and you got your statistician right here. So thank you.
Yeah, it's all recorded. Our website has everything recorded.
It's there somewhere. Yeah.
It is there. You happened to play. You happened to come and join us. Actually, when we commemorated the 90th birthday of John Curto.
Yes,
who's a New England legend.
He sure is.
Yes.
Yep.
He was celebrating his 90th birthday on November 14, 2021.
Yep.
We did a tournament to commemorating that birthday of his, which ended 3 days after his 90th birthday. He died less than a year after that.
That's right.
In 2022, September 30th of 2022. But you were there actually for the commemoration of John Curto's 90th birthday.
Yes. I had the privilege of playing against him twice at two of the weekend tournaments. They were both in Billerica at Honeywell, the Rusty Maurice Bill Levering tournament. Right. And of course I lost both of them, but the second game, John made a mistake. And,
really?
And I was low on time. There was 40 moves in an hour, which back then I thought was so fast. But I'd love to have a tournament with a weekend tournament, 1 day tournament with 40 moves in an hour. That'd be fantastic. But anyways, there was a winning move. I just couldn't analyze it through.
Oh, really?
And so after the game, I said to John, if I'd made this move, what would you have done? And he said, punt. And I said, oh my God, I missed it. And then he very kindly said that, your rating is, I think at the time maybe it was 1,600 or 1,650 or something like that. Yes. He said, 1,650? I said, yeah, that's right. And he says, I'm surprised it's not a lot higher. Yes. And that was a confidence boost. It was like, I wanted to say wow, thanks, Mr. Curto. But it was.
How old were you at the time?
Oh, let's see. Oh my gosh, now I get
Roughly.
Roughly, was I still? Oh no, I would have been in high school, 16, 17, something like that. Okay. Yeah. All right. But that was a confidence booster, knowing that both times I gave him a game, but I lost. Ended up losing. But
because he actually holds the record as far as winning the state championship more times than anybody else. Yep. 17 times, according to the Mass Chess Association records. They have recorded all the years that he has won. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And the closest one now is Grandmaster Alexander Ivanov, who's won it 14 times.
Yep.
And it's going to be very difficult for Alexander Ivanov to overtake John Curto in Chase Championship.
Dynasty.
It is, yeah. Now, let's talk about the club championship.
Sure.
The club championship you won, this was actually held, again, this was held several months ago. Again, we didn't get around to doing a program with the club championship until now.
Right. Yeah.
But it was a 16-player closed championship, 7 rounds. We used to do this as an 8-player, which is 7 rounds, as a round robin. But we changed the format, and again, we've been doing now strictly 16-player, 7-round, what we call Swiss.
Yes.
Yeah. And we did that to try to avoid these postponed games and makeup games.
Withdrawals.
Withdrawals. It was presenting a problem. So that's why we went to the format. But you won this club championship undefeated. You had 5 wins, 2 draws.
Yep.
For a total number of 6 points you had.
Yep.
Now, and again, you played both me and the Dave, among others.
Yep.
And I recall, as far as the second place went to young Leo Maserati of Garden. He came in second, a half point right behind you.
Yep.
He had 5.5 points.
Yep.
And you beat Leo.
Yep. Yep.
But you also beat Dave.
Yeah, that was an interesting game. I mean, Dave, for the record,
you mean that could have gone either way?
Oh, for the record, Dave was winning.
I was
really?
winning,
Dave was winning, but I was low on time, and if I remember, Dave, you please correct me, but I think you were making moves. Was it more quickly than you otherwise would have to try to put pressure on me to flag?
I don't remember.
I
felt like I was playing more quickly than I needed to, but because I had more time than you did, but it was a real painful loss because half the club was gathered around. We were the last ones playing.
Oh yeah.
So half the club is watching.
Big crowd around you.
Oh, I know. We've all been there.
And I think if I had won, we would have been tied at that point.
Yes, I think so.
I think.
But there was just like one mistake. You had a pass punt or something, and
it was a couple pretty bad blunders in a row.
I've been there too. It's almost like cascading failures. You make one mistake, and then it's, let me fix it. No, and now it's a bigger mistake, and then it just kind of unravels. We've all been there. So some breaks obviously went my way in the tournament. So.
Okay. But again, you had the best record of anybody as far as with 5 wins, 2 draws, and of course I remember we played each other in the last round. Right. You and I faced each other, and we drew.
Right. Yeah, I remember it was like a French defense. I think you played an advanced variation, and I ended up winning your D pawn.
You played the French defense, and I played the advanced variation. Right.
I won your D pawn, which kind of leaves you in a rough position because now your other pawn is at risk of being captured, and so I saw that I was winning, and you were looking at a pretty long, hard slog to hold the draw.
Yes, yeah.
And so meanwhile, on board 2, I saw that Leo was winning.
Yes.
So if I just got a draw, then I knot up the victory of the championship. So I extended the draw. I think in a position of strength, and you accepted it, which I think was reasonable because I'm up a really important pawn, and with the initiative. So
so going into the last round, how far were you up? A full point going into the last round?
Yes, I just needed a half point.
You just needed,
and Leo came in second, won his game. So let's see. So I had 6 points, 5 wins, and 2 draws, and he had 5.5.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so that was
that knotted it up.
All right, so
guaranteed the win.
All right, so now you played me in round 7 with draw, but in round 6, we're going to present to our Chess Chat viewers.
Yep.
You selected this game. I think we asked you to pick a game from the club championship you thought would be of interest, and you chose round 6, the next to last round in the club championship, and we have a photo that Dave took. At his house of you playing Todd Sekiras, one of our strong players of the club. Darren has a photo that Dave sent to him of you and Dave in his kitchen. You're playing Now, what was it? What was this event? Are you playing actually
This is the
a
Leisure
tournament?
Kings. This is
Yes,
Leisure Kings.
the
Is a
Leisure
tournament?
Kings, yes.
So
That's
this is an event that you've been holding regularly, a
I
series
think
of.
Mike David was one who started it in Groton, right? The
Yes.
first one. So basically, we had six people, and
This is a round robin.
we
You're
do
playing a round
yeah,
robin.
five
Right.
round robin. Yeah.
Okay. And do you know which Leisure Kings
I
this
don't
was?
remember
No,
which
I-
one.
Okay,
I don't
but
remember either.
But
I
you were
remember-
hosting
yeah.
this one
Yeah.
Yep.
at your house in Westminster.
Yep.
And there's Mike on the left, and Todd is playing on the right side
Yes,
here.
Right.
I do remember this game ultimately
Really?
ended in a draw, but man, look at the concentration.
That's right, exactly. Right.
Man, it's like I can smell the wood burning from here, right?
Okay.
Crazy.
You really remember that game?
Right.
I actually do. It was interesting, and again, Todd played the same opening as Black
Yes.
of the game
Oh,
that we're
really?
going to look at, and I had an advantage, but then it kind of petered out in the end game.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that like at the end we were looking at it was like King and Bishop versus King. You know, he forced a draw.
forced a draw.
But yeah, it was a really that was a really good game too. But,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, we're going to present to our viewers the game you played at Fitchburg State University at the McKay complex.
Yep.
And in the game, in this round 6 game, you had white. What did you play as your first move that we're going to show our chess chat viewers right now in this game against Todd Securis?
Yes. Yep. I played E4
Okay.
to start with.
Are you an E4 a standard E4 player, or
Yes.
or do you mix things up?
I've tried playing D4. I've tried playing, openings like is it the Kali system?
Kali,
Kali,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and also the Zucker-Tort attack. Is that yeah?
Yeah, Zucker-Tort.
And I think my record win-loss, winning percentage was something like 0.2.
Oh, really? With
Back of the batting rotation for a single A ball team,
Okay.
No, I had terrible results with it, so I went back to E4.
E4,
Yes,
okay.
which is what I played, way back, when I was a,
Well,
was a kid.
it reminds me
and
of
all
what Bobby Fish used to say.
Oh, yeah?
He never, you will not find a single Bobby Fischer game where he played D4.
D4,
And
no.
people used to ask him why he always played E4. Although in the World Championship against Spassky, he did play C4 in one of the games.
Yes.
But he said, players would ask him, why are you always playing E4 every time? He says, best by test.
Best by test.
He was a firm believer that E4 was the right move to play
Yep.
as an opening move.
Yep.
So how did Todd reply to your E4? And
Yep,
Dave's
all
going
right.
to play
So he
move?
plays D6.
Yep.
Now, what is this? This has a name, this
I don't
opening
think
defense?
it has a name yet, right?
Not
It's
yet.
going to depend on what comes
Because
next.
it could transpose and this
Could transpose to the
number of things.
Philidor, but it's probably going to be the Pirch. Right?
Okay.
Yep.
So how did you respond to D6 by Todd?
D4.
Okay. All right. So now you have 2 pawns in the center.
Yep.
You have more. You control more space in the center right now.
And we've said before that, if you're white and you get the chance to play E4 and D4, you can't
Highly
go wrong.
recommended. You are yes. You
Can't go wrong.
take possession of the center.
Of course, Black's going to attack the center
Right.
and see counterplay.
Okay. So now here is where Todd played
Knight F6.
knight f6.
So he's attacking the E4 pawn
All right.
immediately.
Okay.
And then I play knight to C3.
Protecting him.
That's right.
Now we have a name. Now this is a name now, right? Now we have a defense. Right
As soon as Black plays his next
still
move.
transposed.
Yeah.
Depending on what
Yes.
Black does now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So what Todd did was.
So now he plays G6, getting ready to fianchetto his bishop.
Yep.
All right.
And this is the Pirch. Am I saying- Pirch.
This is the Pirch defense.
Yep.
It's named after a Yugoslavian grandmaster, Vasya Pirc. Yeah.
Pirc.
Who actually he was a theoretician. He did a lot of analysis on this, and that's why the name Pirc. It's not Perk.
I had been saying Perk for decades.
Lots of people.
Yeah.
Because it's spelled P-I-R-C. But the C in Serbian and Croatian is a TS sound, Pirc.
Yes.
Pirc, yeah.
Yep.
So this is the Pirc defense. However, in Russia, the Russian players, when they would play this, they would refer to this as the offensive defense, because there was a Russian
Right.
who was also analyzing this years ago. whose name was Anatoly Ufimtsev, and some Russians also call it the Pirc Ufimtsev. They attach both names to it.
Right.
But this is the Pirc.
It's also called the modern, right?
Yes.
It's the same
Well, the modern defense is if you play G6 as Black's first move,
First move.
but they transpose into one another pretty readily.
Okay. Yeah. Right, yeah.
Okay.
So yes. So now, okay. So it is now whose move here now?
It's my move. It's White's move.
Okay.
Yep.
So what did you play now?
I played F4.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a.
Then you had other options. You had other moves possible,
Sure.
right?
Oh, plenty of other moves possible. I mean, you could play
Knight f3, right? Bishop. You could play the baby
Bishop to G5 or
Bishop E3.
Yep. There's no number of options, but this is a move, a variation that I came across in a book called Winning with E4. A couple of FIDE masters. You probably know them, George.
Yes.
Jerzy Konakowski, Uwe Beckman.
Beckman I don't know, but
Yep.
Konakowski I do know.
Yeah, but anyways, I like the aggressiveness of it, and it looked great in the book.
It's a popular variation.
Yep.
And it's known as the Austrian attack.
Yep.
And there were two Austrian players from Vienna who actually did a lot of theory of this Austrian attack. One was Hans Müller, and the other one was Grandmaster Andres Duckstein.
Okay.
Andres Duckstein just passed away this past August of last year, August 24.
Gotcha.
So those two Viennese players did a lot of opening analysis on this F4 variation, and that's why it's called the Austrian attack.
So that was my reference source, primary reference source, preparing for this game. I knew I was going to play Todd as White,
Right.
and he usually plays.
You knew him as a Pierce player.
Pierce player,
Pierce
yes.
player. Okay.
And so this was a prepared line based on that. But one problem, the book didn't mention a particular move that Black has. That's Black's best move. We'll see it in just a minute.
Okay.
But anyways,
That's Todd's move.
Now it's Todd's move, and he fianchettos the bishop to
That's right.
G7.
Okay.
and then I play right away. Part of the whole goal of the Austrian attack is to be able to enable E5, defended by the pawns on D4 and F4. So
Okay.
it is an aggressive
Attacking the knight on
center.
F6.
Yeah.
So what did Todd do in response to this E5 move? Yeah. Does he actually take the
So he
pawn?
captures. Yeah.
Yep.
He captures.
And I recapture with the F pawn.
Right.
It is possible for White to recapture with the D pawn, leading to a queen sacrifice and a queen trade. I meant to say.
Right, yeah.
And then and White has like a slight edge in the end game, but that didn't appeal to me.
But you wanted to keep queens on the board.
keep the queens on the board.
Keep the queens on the board.
Have a middle game. So.
By taking with the F pawn, now that knight has to move to
Right.
save itself. And Todd actually, it seems there's only one. Well, there's actually two moves I see, but he plays.
He could come back to here, but
Yeah.
he plays knight to D5.
That's right.
All right.
And
okay.
then
Now what did you do now?
I played knight F3.
Okay. Development.
Right.
The idea in the opening is to develop those pieces as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Okay.
And Black castled,
All right.
which is that's the book move and the best move.
All right. All right. So it's now your move here.
Mm-hmm.
What are your choices here? Do you have actually some alternatives here? I mean,
I suppose White could play bishop to E2, but
ready the castle, yeah. you
yeah,
could.
but I think more energetic and kind of forcing
Yes. Now you
Black
have
to
a
take
double
action.
attack on the knight.
bishop to C4, attacking the knight, and so the knight has to be defended or move.
Right. And he actually decides to move it, right?
Yep.
Instead of defending it.
He
moves it and counterattacks
Yes.
the bishop.
Yep, another book move, and perfectly fine. And I respond by just moving the bishop back to B3.
Okay.
So you're keeping it on this diagonal,
Exactly.
which turns out to be important.
Yes, it
Okay.
does.
All right.
And
All right.
now, let's see.
Now it's Todd's move. All
Right.
Yes.
So now's where we have some comments from Todd.
Yeah,
also
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, what does Todd have to say about this position?
as well. And he said on this move, it's imperative that Black plays C5 to challenge the center.
Aha.
Yes, absolutely.
I have to say, though, in the database I looked at, the move he played, knight to C6, was the most common move.
Oh, really?
Right.
In the database?
It's the most common move. And he said he played knight to C6.
Yeah.
He said, which blocks the C pawn.
Right.
And he says, He says black has to suffer against the strong white center pawns
Yep.
for the rest of the game. So,
Pretty much, yeah.
Right.
And so if we could just to
Yeah.
look quickly at
Let's point out C5.
Yeah.
Let's play C5.
Yes. And
Now-
now I have to take the pawn basically. Otherwise, if I do something else like castle or whatever,
Right.
he's going to win my piece, my bishop if I
Well,
let him play C4. You know.
Well, you have the
Well,
check. You have the check though. The bishop A4 check.
Well, you could come here and it
But
is
wait, just
defended.
yeah,
It is
but
defended.
that's true.
It's not great.
It
No,
is
it's not- yeah, right.
suboptimal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
I
you-
lose it.
yeah.
That is to say,
Yeah.
it's taken off the board. I
Yes,
want to
yeah,
keep that
yeah,
piece.
yeah.
But you
Thank you, yes.
can take the you can take the pawn on C5.
Yeah.
D takes C5,
And then
and then the queen, Todd's queen would have taken
it would
on
have traded.
D1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take back there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here,
I can-
I'll hold the black.
Yeah, thanks.
And
yeah.
then this knight actually can go back to D7, knight D7. Now it's actually we have the knight attacking the undefended C pawn, but a double attack on the E pawn.
Right.
So black would regain the pawn.
Yeah,
The-
white can play E6.
That's
and
true,
then-
double the pawns
and
there.
white, and then black ends up winning this knight. I take this pawn, but
Would check.
I can't hold this pawn.
No.
Eventually, black's going to win that back. This pawn. So
All
this
right.
this is an equal position. White has just a very slim edge here.
So he could
it
had
goes to
he
sh-
played C5.
That's what
this
would happen
would
if he had
have
played
happened.
C5. Yeah.
Yeah, goes to show that
so we'll put the-
C5 is really as Todd said too.
Yeah.
It's an essential move.
All right.
And now
So-
this knight is here.
Right on D6. Yeah. Okay.
Good now?
And I
So now
think
it's
yes.
so it's your
Okay.
move now.
Right,
So
so-
knight C6 is what Todd played here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And-
again, it is the most common move in the
Yeah.
database I was looking at.
Yeah.
But you also see C5 was also in the database
Yeah.
also. Yeah.
And
but
C5
not as popular.
Not
Yeah.
as popular, but
As-
so it's not as if this was a blunder.
No, it's not
No,
a bad.
no.
It's not a bad move, but C5 is clearly better.
Better, yeah.
Right.
Without question. So here I played A4,
Right. Okay.
and then and even now,
Yeah.
Oh, because
yeah,
this-
you can go ahead.
Even now, he could have
Gone to A5, attack
Yep.
the bishop,
attacked the bishop,
and force
I-
the bishop back.
and
I forced
then
back.
and then he could have played.
He still could get C5.
Still
in.
play C5.
Yeah,
All right.
it's not as strong. It's definitely I think the better option.
better than what he did.
Better than what he did, yeah, but
Yeah.
not as good as if he played C5 right away, but still
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
and better.
All right.
So what he. No, thank you.
Yeah, no
So
worries.
put the pawn
So
back
what-
on. Let's put this pawn back on.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
So,
right.
so what he did,
What
what
did
he
he do?
did is
Well, he didn't want the pawn to be pushed to
He doesn't want the
A5.
pawn to
Oh,
be pushed
absolutely.
again.
You're
This
threatening
is-
to push
this,
on
This is
E5.
almost a knee-jerk thing when you see somebody push the pawn.
Yeah.
That you push your pawn to stop its
Yeah.
progress. So
It stops the attack on the knight.
so
Yeah.
it's very understandable.
Yep.
It's logical. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think I expected Todd to play A5 because he doesn't let me play A5.
Right.
So
Yeah.
At what point do you remember when you varied from the game you were playing against Todd in Westminster?
that was let's see. I think I might have played. I don't remember. It wasn't. I didn't play the Austrian attack. But I eventually somehow got. I think I somehow got E5 in, but but it was a different variation.
So it wasn't the Austrian, okay.
yeah. I don't think I played F4.
Okay.
Okay,
in
so
that
now
other
your
game.
move.
Yep.
After Todd's A5. Did
Let's
you
see.
castle here?
Yes, I did. Yep.
All right, so white castles. All right. All right, it's Todd's move. Do we see it on,
Yep.
see it on our board here?
Okay, so now Todd plays bishop to G4, developing the bishop, pinning the knight on F3.
Yep.
All right. But is there a threat now? Well,
Yeah.
Is there now with that with the bishop to G4 pinning the knight? Doesn't black now have a threat?
Right, so black has two attackers on this pawn, the queen and
Yes.
the knight.
Yes.
And white only has the queen defending because this is pinned.
Yes.
So if we can eliminate that knight on F3,
Yep, that pawn's gonna drop.
that D pawn will be lost.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have to play.
Yep.
I think the best move is bishop to
Defend.
E3, defending the pawn on D4, and if black
makes
was
sense.
to take, if black was to take, I'm fine because now there'd be, pressure on the pawn in F7. I'd have a triple attack on the pawn in
Right.
F7.
Todd's move. How do you respond to your bishop E3?
So he plays knight to B4.
Okay. Now that's rather interesting.
Yeah, perfectly good move though, and he's
yeah.
preparing to put a knight on D5, which I think is
That's the idea. To
potentially.
redeploy that knight to D5.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I play I play h3 right away.
You're putting the question to the
Question
bishop right away.
Will he stay or will he go? Right?
Yeah.
You know, he either has to move the bishop out of the way or take my knight.
All right.
And
what does he choose? What does Todd choose?
He
here?
chose to take, which is probably not best.
no, it was an
It
inaccuracy.
was better to retreat it along.
Actually,
To E6, yeah.
This is actually
Really?
This is the engine suggestion.
Really?
Bishop to
Which-
Yes.
Because even if he takes,
And we
like
double the
this,
pawns
double
here.
These
Yep.
pawns. These pawns are double, but they're not on an open file. They can't be attacked easily.
Not
All
right away.
Okay.
And it opens up this line for
Yeah.
the rook.
So that was the better choice to
Yes.
retreat the bishop
And
at
again-
E6.
Yep.
And again, all black has in that is just a slight edge. You know, the pawns are isolated and doubled, but there's no immediate way to take advantage of that. But it is like maybe a long-term disadvantage if the game progresses into
Right.
the end game. So,
Right.
But it's just an edge for
So
white.
instead of retreating,
So
he
he
captured.
takes. So he's
Yep.
giving up the bishop pair,
That's right.
Okay.
and he's helping Mike to develop. So
Right, and I take with the queen. Whoops. And
Now, do you have a threat now?
sure
By
I do.
taking-
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the bishop, queen, and rook, I'm bearing down on the pawn
You're,
in
da-
F7.
you're buried down 3 times here with,
Yep.
the,
Yep.
with 3 pieces here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So one interesting thing is that here,
Yeah.
Todd, could have
played.
could have simply moved the king out of the way so that if Mike captures, it's not with checks. So like, for example, if he takes here with the bishop,
That knight on
looks
B4
looks like he wins a pawn, but now
is going to fork the rook and the bishop.
you can fork the rook and the
The bishop.
That's right.
Yeah.
because it's not check.
Right.
Yep.
And
So that was what he should have done.
that's what he should have
Should
done.
have played
Yeah.
Or
the
either that, or even he could have just blocked.
blocked. Right.
That's I was
Even-
looking
yeah.
at E6 and then
And still renew the threat of the knight takes on C2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Possibly I could have played knight to E4 at that point because then I'm
yes.
heading to F6 and,
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
That
with
that's
a
a
king
very
side
good
attack.
move. Yeah.
You've still got an advantage.
That's right.
No matter what, but C6, does nothing to
No.
address.
So this is a weak move. This is a weak
the
move.
triple threat. So
This is a weak move. Yeah. He had either king H8 or E6. Which
Oh
is-
yeah. So actually,
Does Todd have a comment?
Todd did say that on bishop takes f3. He said it was a bad move, basically losing a pawn.
Yes.
He said, if I recall, I knew that white would get the f7 pawn, but somehow he thought that the pinned white bishop on f7 was going to be a problem.
Right.
But
Because he has
says
the
it
rook.
wasn't.
He has the rook in F8, and then of course my bishop on F7 is going to be pinned because I
Right.
got my queen right
Right.
there. So
Okay. So he thought it would be a problem. It turns out it wasn't.
yeah.
So
All right.
So
So,
I-
instead,
I went right ahead
took it.
and took it. Yeah.
he takes, but now he's taking it with check.
With check.
Yes.
So he has to respond.
he only has one move here.
And,
he's
yeah.
got to
Yeah.
move the
King H8.
escape with the king over to H8.
So now, because of that, now white has time to defend this pawn.
Right.
C2.
Right.
Let's see. And I did it with queen to E4.
Yes. So the queen defends the pawn on C2.
Defending the pawn on C2 and
Right. And it basically breaks his pin. Now the bishop can move back out.
Yep.
And
And defend. Yeah. The bishop could have gone back, but
yep.
yeah, to B3.
now the queen's out of the way.
Queen's out of the way. Right. But what did Todd do now here?
So now he
The knight on the 6th rank.
puts the knight down on D5.
Yep.
Okay. So we have the knight attacking the knight on C3 and the bishop on E3.
And he's attacking my bishop on E3, which
yes.
I don't want to lose right now.
Right. You want to hold on
Yeah.
to that bishop.
Now here I make a move and I thought, hey, let the good times roll. I play bishop to G5, and I'm thinking, cool. I'm pinning the pawn in E7,
right.
and I'm preparing queen to H4 with an attack, threatening to take here because the pawn on H7 is pinned.
Right.
But
Yeah.
of course it's it's black's move, and there is a great move here that I overlooked, but fortunately so did Todd.
Really?
And
yeah. So if you're watching it,
Yes.
yeah, maybe hit pause.
on
and-
medium,
yeah,
then you
yeah,
can pause it. You
yeah,
can pause here and see if you can find
Yeah, right.
black's one move to get back in the game here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not obvious.
It's not an obvious move. All right. But again, I can see why you're moving the bishop to G. You're saving the bishop. It prevents the knight on D5
Yep.
capturing the bishop on E3.
Yep.
So it's actually a sensible move. However, there's a stronger move here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So if
A much
you've
stronger
paused
move.
it, if you've paused it at this
Oh, yeah.
point,
Yeah.
All right, what is the move that
The
actually?
move is knight here. So the point is, now this bishop is no longer defended.
Okay, so it
Yes.
allows that rook on f8 now to capture that bishop on f7.
Which is why,
And the lines that occur after
Yes.
this can be fairly complex, but the main point is that putting the knight here
Yes.
cuts off the defense of this bishop.
yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Again, the knight is
and
attacking the
attacks-
queen.
yeah,
The
and attacks
knight
the
is
queen.
attacking the queen.
And actually, if I took with my pawn, that would be terrible because then he just recaptures. I have 2 pieces
now,
under attack. I lose a piece.
Right.
That would be a blunder.
Exactly. That would lose.
So
a
I'd have
piece.
to take with the. I'd have to take with
the
my
bishop. Right.
He recaptures with the pawn here.
Yeah.
And now I play e6.
Yes.
Defending.
Right.
But Black has a lot of counterplay here, including beginning
just
with f5.
attacking
I got to move my queen out of the way. I lose this pawn here.
With check.
With check. And
Yes,
so it's like.
Yeah. So that was the move that he missed.
Yeah,
I have a pass pawn, but Black has a lot of counterplay.
Right.
So
But it was not at all obvious. And
No.
the fact is that
Right.
they both missed it.
Yes.
Which happens a lot at our level. If a computer finds a move where the players
that's
at our
right.
level both miss.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, you look at it, you think you've played a great game, and then
Exactly.
you go through the chess engine.
Yes.
And the chess engine can be such a killjoy. It's like, oh, that move I was so proud of
right.
was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens so many times.
It sure does. Yeah.
So what did Todd do instead?
let's
So
see.
He didn't play-
instead, let's see, king.
Oh, for the record, instead of playing my bishop to g5, if I just moved it back to d2,
back
that
there.
would have been fine.
Okay. Right.
White is fine, and then I can still threaten.
Still bring the queen over to
Possibly playing
h4.
queen h4, yeah.
Okay.
So anyways.
So what Todd did what now in
So
response?
he just played queen e7,
Yeah.
connecting his rooks.
And also breaking the pin on the pawn on
this
e7,
pawn, yeah.
which
That's
is
true, yeah.
which is why I played that move to begin with, and
Right.
and also to keep that on the board. And now I want to play queen h4. So I shouldn't have been able to do this, but I'm able to continue with my original
All right. So
plan.
you play queen h4. Yeah.
And now the threat is of course taking on g6,
This pawn,
which is
because he
pinned.
can't take back
Yeah,
his pin.
and then
so,
threatening checkmate. So
Uh-huh.
So he
that's
Okay.
forced.
pretty much has to take.
Yep.
All right. So he takes there.
So White's won the exchange here.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Okay.
So White's up the exchange.
All right. Okay. Black's move. Todd's move. What does he do? All
He
right.
takes down the pawn on
Takes on
c2.
C2.
Attacks the rook on a1.
So I move that.
Okay, just hold on a second. They're just,
yeah.
just
Oh,
getting knight to c. Okay.
Okay. So now
Okay,
we.
go ahead.
So
Okay.
now you're doubling the rooks on
Double
the
the
f
rooks.
file. Rook a f1.
That's right.
Okay. So
Let's see.
It's now Todd's move. What
Yeah.
does he do in response to this?
Knight to
Knight to e3.
c to e3.
Attacking
Attack-
one of the rooks.
Yeah. Yes.
Attacks that. Okay.
And
attacks
now
the-
there's actually a. I actually took his took
the
the
knight with
the
the
knight with
bishop?
my bishop, but there's a much more forceful move. If I just play if I play knight to if I take the knight here, knight takes d5.
How does he take?
That's stronger. If he was to recapture with
the knight.
yeah, bishop
Oh.
to h6 wins because it's just
Oh wow.
pretty intense.
Well, you're threatening to take on g7 for one
yes,
thing.
yes, exactly. And then
and it-
also
Both rooks,
And both rooks.
bearing down on
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
which is so that was definitely a much
That was a strong
forceful.
move. Bishop h6 would have been a strong
see
if he had taken.
Yep.
here and here.
Okay.
And you got, I think this was, yeah,
That way, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is the
So-
position now.
Yes.
All right. So that rook on f1 now under attack.
Yes.
You chose to move that
No,
rook.
so he,
Nope.
he, he
Oh,
just
you took
exchanged.
it. Oh, you
Yeah,
bishop takes.
I took
on,
that,
on
but it-
e3.
Which
Yep.
is reasonable. I mean, he's up material, so
Yes. And I
right.
saw that after White takes the knight and Black
Okay.
recaptures,
Knight take.
and now I can take the pawn on e7.
Yep.
Because I'm attacking the queen.
All right. Okay.
So
so now he's up the exchange and a pawn.
that's right. But now
now the queen has to move.
and Todd moves the queen to the best square.
Yeah.
Queen to d8.
So now he's pinning the
Pinning
rook.
the.
Yep.
Because of the queen.
Actually, does he have a threat here?
Sure does.
Of bringing that bishop back here.
Yep.
Well, not the bishop
Not
back to
the
f8 because
bishop.
that'd be checkmate.
Oh, that's right. He can't do
Yeah.
that. That
But-
bishop has to say, but he brings that.
The knight.
Oh,
brings
forks
the
the knight.
fork.
Forked the rook, the
Sure.
queen and the rook. Yes.
Yeah.
Knight f5.
And,
Would have
meanwhile,
been-
I've got this rook under attack. So yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'm thinking, was my move taking the pawn
Yeah.
on e7 a mistake? It's not. but I spent 20 minutes on my next move.
I can imagine.
And actually, there's a really interesting win here. Well, it leads to a one endgame for white. Here's what I wanted to play.
Yes.
And I'll show you.
Well, probably should do it quickly. We probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Rook from F1 to F7.
Okay.
And
Now what does he do?
and now if black plays
Now he has
knight
to come back and
F5,
defend
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
attacking my queen and the rook.
Yeah.
Right.
The way for white here is to
Probably push the rook.
nope.
No?
Nope. It's rook takes bishop,
Yeah.
Yes.
and I have the diagram so we won't get lost.
Okay.
Yeah.
If knight takes queen, now white has a pretty neat little response here.
Check.
Check, as you can see. I sure hope I'm not blocking the
No.
board.
And then
Go
the
like
king.
this.
The king has to move to G8.
King goes here.
Yeah.
Now this rook check.
Right.
King has to move here again.
Right.
And now white plays rook to D7, threatening checkmate
And
on
the queen.
rook to H8. So,
Oh,
so
yeah.
black has to give
Give
the
him a
queen
queen,
back.
yeah.
And now the ensuing endgame is a pretty much one for white. I've got a pass pawn here, pawn
Yes.
majority here.
Right.
So there you go.
Okay.
That's what that
Okay,
would have been.
Let's set it
So
back
that
up.
was a that was a difficult.
Yep.
That's a difficult tactic. Yeah.
And I have the
Okay,
diagram on my phone.
So the rook's pawn here.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Knight
And
there on E3. I was on E3.
yep.
Knight on E3. All right. So in this
And,
position,
yes,
Is this the position?
it
where-
is.
where- all right.
Oops, and the king is on.
The king is on H8.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, okay.
So I decide. I mean, in that variation we just looked at, basically,
Yeah.
white ends up giving back at the exchange, but for a one end game.
Right.
I had the same idea, but not nearly as well executed, but still okay.
Right.
I play rook to F3,
Attacking the knight.
attacking the knight, anticipating that
Yeah.
Todd's going to move the knight to
Knight to
F5.
F5,
And
force
still
now-
do the yeah.
And now
I take.
I capture it
Rook
because
takes F5,
right.
and he has only one move here.
Yep.
Recapturing.
Takes F5.
Yep.
G takes F5.
With the idea being that
not
I'm giving
0.5.
back the exchange, but
Yeah,
I
we
have
see
the
it on
pass
board.
pawn, and I am.
Right.
you
But
know.
of course, the rook is still pinned there. But
Yeah.
Yes.
But you're going to be able to get out of this.
Yes. Because the knight's off the board, yeah.
Right, exactly.
And now here, I'm trying to remember, I didn't want black to be able to play his pawn to F4. Mm-hmm. The best way to stop that would have been knight to
Knight
E2. That's the
E2,
best move here.
Yeah.
Knight E2.
Instead, I played G3, which does the same thing, but it's passive and not as active as, knight to E2, activating my knight, maybe getting it to F4.
Right.
So not the best move, but serviceable, I guess.
So what did he do in response to this G3?
So
He advances what?
He played pawn to C5, which was a bit of a mistake. I think
yeah, he could have actually played
What could he-
queen to B6
queen to
would have been
B6,
better.
attacking
The B2.
this pawn.
Right. Yeah.
and
But it also
and if I move my queen out of the way, I mean,
But it also
I
allows
have to
this
still
rook.
defend.
What it does by bringing the queen to B6, it allows that rook on A8, which hasn't been in play at all.
Yes.
Come over
to
for
come into
defensive
play, right.
Be,
That's right.
be a defender. Yeah.
Yes.
Bring it over to G8.
Yeah.
But I think,
Yeah.
well, I guess the pin is done because, the queen's defended.
That
now,
was the
but-
other reason why I played G3 to protect
defend,
my
right.
queen.
Right.
But still, knight to E2 was better.
Right.
Yep.
So he
Yeah.
plays C5.
All right. So C5 was played
Yeah.
by Todd.
And I just advanced the pawn.
Advance it. Okay.
And now white's winning with a
just
steamroller.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's-
Because you're going to advance the D pawn.
The two pawns, yeah. Pass
Okay.
pawns.
So it's your move. Oh, no,
So
it's
yeah.
Todd's move.
Yep.
plays C4.
Right around now, I have 17 minutes left in the game, and Todd has 10. So the
okay.
game kind of it degrades a little bit because of the time, but still a interesting ending. Let's see.
All right.
So I played.
So you played D5.
D6.
D6 here.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So now the queen now
Have that,
moves.
Yep. So Todd plays queen to B6 check.
Yes.
So it's check, and he's attacking the pawn.
So he has
Right.
the king has to move.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just want to avoid any,
Right.
long, slogs of check, check, check.
Right. That's probably Black's only hope is to
Right.
get a perpetual check in there. So he
Yep.
takes the pawn
Queen takes.
on B2.
Right.
And now the knight's undefended.
Right.
Yep. So I move back to E2.
Okay. Knight E2.
I just want to avoid any dangerous checks and hopefully simplify because I have the two pass
that's
pawns.
not right. That's
Oh,
not right.
really?
No?
Knight E2 is.
Queen takes B2.
After queen takes b2, it's what did Mike do?
Do we have something on here?
Oh, you know what? Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I left the move out. I played queen to g5
Queen
first.
g5.
Thank you.
So he's threatening
Well,
me.
now you're threatening mate.
Yes, I'm threatening mate. And then also the idea was to not allow him to get his, like a queen check down
Oh, yes,
here
the
and
queen on
c1.
G does not allow a check on c1 with the queen. Yeah,
Right. So so Todd does throw in a check, queen to a1, check.
Okay.
Yep, thank
All
you.
right.
Yep, king
Let's see
f2.
if they've got that.
All right, so
queen
we
to
see it here,
a1.
queen
Okay,
a1
yep, go ahead.
check.
So go ahead.
Yep, king f2.
King f2.
All right.
You have that.
And of
King
course,
f2,
you
yeah.
know, you can't take the knight because it's checkmate on
Right.
taking
He's
the
got,
bishop.
he has to defend the bishop on
Right.
g7.
So he checks again.
One
Yep.
more check.
Queen b2 check.
Yep. I protect
Now
the
he blocks.
knight, use it to block the check.
Right.
All I'm trying to do here is just
And now,
eliminate the checks.
Right. Okay. So what does Todd do in response to this?
He still, I mean, he still had
Yeah,
another
it's-
check he
he
could have
has-
thrown
yeah.
in. I don't know if it would have made much difference, but in any event, he grabs the pawn.
Oh, he grabs
one of the
there.
two passed
Yeah.
pawns.
All
Yep.
right.
Yep. And now here I played, let's see.
Queen e3 is what you
Yep.
played.
Queen e3 is what I played. That
Yeah.
was this move. Actually, a move that wins right away
It's just a,
is
Was
just
just
to play
advance the pawn.
d7, and I'm threatening rook to e8 check,
Right.
followed by
Queening.
recapturing and getting a
Recapturing
second
the
queen.
queen. Yeah. Okay.
But I played this because I saw I saw a tactic if Todd was to take my other pawn,
Right. All right.
which he did.
yeah, so it's still a win. So
Right.
he does take the other pawn.
Yep. But I saw that I was going to win his bishop by playing rook to e8 check, which is what I played in the actual game.
Okay. Now here is where he did not recapture, right?
He has to recapture, yeah.
Or did he?
no,
did not.
no.
He
And
had to.
He had to.
He had to, but he didn't.
He didn't, and that's just like, because I chalk that up to
Well, he's,
time trouble at
he's
the
low
end,
on
near
time,
the end of the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But if he did recapture, I would have
You're
taken,
still-
and then he comes here and I play queen a check and end up winning the
Win the bishop.
unprotected
Wins the bishop,
bishop.
yeah,
Right,
so-
exactly.
I'm up a piece.
You were full piece.
Yeah.
So he's won either way. So,
Yeah.
so king to g7
King
is what he
G7
played.
is what he played. Okay. And now what?
I just took the
You
rook.
took the rook.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you've gained there.
And the engine said, well, you could have played a check.
Queen here.
Okay,
check.
yeah.
Yes, and it
with
would have been a
G5.
checkmate. Yeah,
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
a mate in 7, or
But
that kind of thing that
Right.
the engine
Situations
finds.
like this, as long as you see a win,
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah.
you just go for
you
it.
grab it.
Exactly. All right. So now it's Todd's move. He
He
moves.
plays b6.
All right.
And we're near the end now.
All right.
Rook to a7 check, and it's
Yeah.
White's going to find
time.
himself in a mate
Yeah,
right.
a mate
So
pretty
king
soon.
g6.
All right.
And then
now-
Queen e6.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah. This is a forced mate here.
yeah.
'Cause
Well,
the
the point is here, it forces. Todd's got to bring his queen back to f6, force off the trade of the queens.
Yeah.
I'm up a rook,
Oh, full
and so
rook. You're up a full rook.
it's a
It's a one-in game. It's a one game.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I just want to
exactly.
continue that. So yeah, so that was the.
So that was
the win.
36 moves. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, round 6 of the club championship. And you clinched the club championship in the final round.
Right. So you said after this you were up half a point after this win, going to the final
well,
round. you
Well, let's
thought?
see. I had.
Yeah, because actually, Leo ended up with 5. You ended up with the 6 points out of 7.
Yeah,
right?
and that was a draw in the final round
You
with
had
you.
5.5.
Yes.
Yeah. Leo, now what did he do in the last? I forget what Leo did in the last round. Did he win his last
He
round?
won his last game.
Oh, so he was a
So
4.5.
He had
So
4.5, and I had 5.5. I was up by a
You were
full
full point. So-
right. So all I needed was the draw.
All
So
you
when
needed was draw to clinch
when
it.
I had like a advantage in our game, George. So I, with a some position of strength,
Right.
offered the draw.
And okay. Well,
So-
you did. It was enough to clinch the
Yes,
club championship.
exactly. Yeah, because I think you were in for a long slog otherwise.
Yes,
But yeah,
exactly, yeah.
I had a good position and up a pawn. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Now we should point
Effectively,
out.
you could say you won 6 and had 1 draw. I mean, if you had played on, you probably would have had a win. I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. If I needed one, I would have played for it.
Right,
But yeah, for
right.
sure. So.
We should point out, again, we pointed out that the close championship, which actually determines the club champion, was a 16-player, 7-round Swiss. But we also held concurrently a
right.
open club championship.
Yep.
But the close championship determines who the club champion is. But we have an open championship which is for those who didn't qualify for the closed championship. And it was 38 players. We had 38 players playing in the closed championship, and the winner of that was our highest rated player at the club is Federico Santoni.
Yep.
Federico Santoni is the only one that I'm aware of that actually has a World Chess Federation, a FIDE rating.
Yeah, that's right.
He's from Italy. Federico won it. I think he won. It was 7 rounds in the open section. He missed 1 round. Again, if you miss a round, there's no buy. No buys were given. Right. So he won all 6 of his games that he played out of 7, and he won the Open Championship. And again, he is now has an experts rating at the club.
Yep.
He's the highest rated.
And so far this year, he hasn't. He's won every game.
He's won
That's
every
right.
single game in the current club season.
The odds-on favorite this time around.
However,
however.
Federico will not be available. He's most likely to qualify for the club championship.
Yeah.
In fact, he's number 1 in the Grand Prix standings. He's number 1 with 8 points in the standings. But Federico's going back to Italy
Mamma mia.
before our club championship starts. So he's not going to be a contender. He would actually be a heavy favorite.
Yeah, sure.
If he stuck around.
I played him. He's very tough.
He's a very tough opponent. Yeah. And again, he has the FIDE rating, and he again has the best record of the club. Perfect record. Yeah. But he won the club Open Championship. With a perfect score of as far as 6 wins out of 6 games played. Yeah.
So. The first time I played him, he blew me off the board fairly quickly, and then analyzing the game afterward, I realized he's just at another level.
Yeah.
He sees things so quickly.
Oh yeah.
And he saw things that I hadn't seen, and it just comes to him instantly.
And he told me he loves coming to our club. I mean,
it's a great club. Yeah.
No, he's really very active now. He just played actually in the Boston Chess Congress at the Logan Airport. He went down to D.C., Washington, D.C., played in the Eastern Class event. Yeah. So he is now really the most active player at the club as far as playing in various tournaments. In New England and also in other states. Yeah. So again, Federico is one, who's our strongest player now.
Yeah, and he's got the 2,000 rating, which is my holy grail. I mean, I'm 1,900 again.
Right.
Which is where I was when I stopped playing chess.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm back to that level. I've shaken off all the rust from not playing for almost 30 years. But no, that's great. That's a goal to eventually break 2,000. Anyway. So and he's done it. So,
he's done it. And we're very thankful, actually, that Federico, who goes to the College of Holy Cross, that's where he goes to school, and he comes up every week with another player, Toby Barry. They come up together. And we're very fortunate to have these players from Worcester. Unfortunately, the chess club in Worcester closed after all these years. The Worcester Chess Club was one of the oldest clubs in the state.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
But they actually closed their doors, and we have those players coming up. People like Bob Cicino, Alonzo Ross, Sam Park, Ansh Nandu Bakar. We welcome them.
Absolutely.
Because they really need chess in their lives.
Oh, yeah.
And they found it by coming up to Fitchburg, on a Wednesday night. And we encourage other people who want to play at the club, because we have I've asked people who've joined the club, I said, who live closer to other clubs, by the way. There are people from the Boston area, the greater Boston area, who live closer to the Boston Chess Club. But another of the great clubs in the state, Billerica, I would rate clubs like the Billerica Chess Club, the Boylston Chess Club, the club actually. There's a club in Plainville which has a smaller number.
Yeah.
There's a club in Newburyport.
And Waltham too, right?
In Waltham, is also still going strong.
Yeah.
But the 3 very active clubs actually, and of course we have a new club, the Future Masters Chess Academy, which just opened up in Ashton.
Yes.
Anyways, we hope we hope that our chess fans enjoyed the game that Mike Urbonas, our new club champion, presented us with Dave. We hope to see you next time for another thrilling game of Chess Chat. See you next time.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.